You know what's one of the most frustrating things about trying to change? It's that feeling that you are your own worst enemy, that you're the one who gets in your own way, especially when you're right on the edge of a breakthrough. Well, today we're going to talk about why that happens and what you can actually do about it.
I mean, does this sound familiar? You've been doing great for weeks, maybe even months. You're feeling good, you've got momentum, and then bam! Out of nowhere, you fall right back into that old habit, and it feels like you failed even harder than before. It is a completely maddening experience, and there is a very real reason why it happens.
See that whole one step forward, two steps back feeling? It isn't random, it's not just bad luck, and it's not a sign that you're weak. It is a predictable psychological cycle, and honestly, understanding how it works is the key to finally breaking it for good.
That's right, there is a scientific name for what's going on in your brain in those moments. And once you can name it, once you can see it for what it is, you can start to control it. And that, my friends, is a total game changer.
So, what is it? Well, the best way to think about this whole thing is to picture a full-on temper tantrum being thrown by your own brain. It's your brain's old wiring making a last-ditch, desperate effort to keep things exactly the way they've always been. And here's the name for it. It's called an extinction burst. It's this intense, crazy spike in the old, unwanted behavior, right before that behavior finally goes away or becomes extinct. It's your brain screaming for its old reward, its old comfort zone, one last time.
So I want to be super clear about this because it's so important. When this happens, it is not a personal failure, it is not a sign of weakness, it's just a predictable, biological response. This isn't you giving up. This is your old programming fighting for its life.
Now look, this isn't just some clever analogy I came up with. The whole idea of an extinction burst is grounded in decades of real psychological research. So let's take a quick look at where this all comes from.
So, the whole principle was first discovered by the famous psychologist B.F. Skinner. You might have heard of him. His work on what's called operant conditioning basically showed that our behaviors are learned and strengthened by getting rewards. But he also found something really fascinating about what happens when you suddenly take those rewards away. He did this classic experiment where he put a rat in a box with a little lever. When the rat pressed the lever, it got a food pellet. Simple, right? Behavior, reward. But then Skinner turned off the food dispenser. Now, did the rat just stop? No way. It went into a frenzy. It started jamming on that lever faster, harder, and more aggressively than ever before. That desperate panic, that was the extinction burst. And only after that final, intense effort did it finally give up.
It sounds a little funny, but we are just like that rat. Our brains work on the exact same principle. Whether our lever is reaching for junk food, endlessly scrolling social media, or texting someone we know we shouldn't, our brains are conditioned to expect a reward. And when you try to take that reward away, your brain throws the exact same kind of fit.
Okay, this brings us to what I think is the most important mindset shift in this whole explainer. This is where we completely reframe what that moment of struggle really means. And getting this can change everything.
So our old way of thinking, right? It tells us that when things get incredibly hard, it must mean we're failing. It's not working, so we should just give up. But the truth is the complete and total opposite. That intense difficulty, that moment you want to quit the most, is actually proof that what you're doing is working. The hardship is the extinction burst in action.
I want you to just let this sink in for a second. Maybe even burn this quote into your memory. The fact that it feels so hard is the sign that the change is finally starting to work. That moment of greatest resistance isn't a red flag telling you to stop. It's a signpost for success. It means you are winning. It means you've pushed that old habit to its absolute breaking point.
Okay, so we get it now, right? We can identify the extinction burst and we can reframe it as a good sign. But how do we actually get through it? How do we win this fight when our own brain is screaming at us?
Well, here is your game plan, a simple 5-step strategy to get through the storm. First, expect it. Second, ride the wave. Third, stay the course. Fourth, make it hard to go back. And finally, number 5, celebrate your progress. Let's break these down real quick.
Step 1 is almost like a superpower. Just expect it. If you know the storm is coming, you can prepare for it. So when that intense urge hits, you don't panic. Instead, you can actually smile and say to yourself, there it is, the extinction burst. This means I'm close. Just naming it takes away almost all of its power.
Next, you've got to ride the wave and stay the course. This means you don't fight the feeling, but you also don't give in to it. You just observe it. You watch that craving without judging yourself, you breathe, remind yourself it's just a feeling and it will pass, and then you double down on your new behavior. Remind yourself why you started this in the first place.
Now, step 4 is super practical, and it's crucial. You have to create friction. Make it physically harder to go back to the old habit. So if you're trying to eat healthy, get the junk food out of your house. If you're avoiding a distracting app, delete it from your phone. If you're trying to get away from a toxic person, block their number. Don't just rely on willpower. Change your environment. And finally, step 5, you have to celebrate. And I'm serious. Surviving an extinction burst without giving in is a massive victory. It is real, tangible proof that you are successfully rewiring your brain. You have to acknowledge that. Be proud of yourself for getting through it. And I want to leave you with this secret. In this battle against your old habits, the only way you can truly lose is if you stop trying. That's it. As long as you just don't stop, success isn't just possible, it's pretty much inevitable.
So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. The next time you feel that intense, powerful pull to go backward, that moment where it feels impossibly hard to keep going, what are you going to remember? Are you going to see it as a failure, or are you going to recognize it for what it truly is, the final scream of an old habit that is about to die?